give you a brief recap of the Star Trek future timeline, some of which has already been overtaken by reality, but which nonetheless belongs to the Star Trek universe. In the late 90s, according to the Star Trek universe, we had the eugenics wars, where humanity tried to improve itself by eugenics experiments, and we got Khan Noonien Singh conquering 1/4 of the planet and leading to a major war until Khan Noonien Singh was ousted and sent into space on the Botany Bay prison ship. In the 2020s, we had the sanctuary districts from Deep Space Nine past tense, where governments decided to put the homeless and the unemployed into districts where they would just live in squalor and have nothing and just rot away. And after that we would have World War III, which in Star Trek First Contact we learned killed hundreds of millions of people. It was a nuclear war. And after that we had the post-nuclear horror, which we learned about in Next Generation Encounter at Farpoint. We had Colonel Green, who we first met in a TOS episode, The Savage Curtain, I think. And he got more fleshed out in an Enterprise episode, Terra Prime and Demons. I think it was in Demons, the second part, that they showed the Colonel Green speech. And then First Contact happened, Zefram Cochrane made his warp flight, and we met the Vulcans. And then humanity changed. In Star Trek Enterprise Season 1 and 2, it was laid out how humanity changed, how humanity put an end to war, to poverty, to racism, to hate, after we had First Contact met the Vulcans. Now, you saw the title of this video and you heard the recent stories of people like Marina Sirtis or Patrick Stewart saying that conservatives shouldn't like Star Trek. But all the conservatives who like Star Trek, not the teenage edgelord types who supported the Trump campaign, but the traditional conservatives who simply want to watch out for their home and family, the traditional conservatives who want society to be safe and reliable. They say they really want a future without war, without poverty, without hate, without racism. They literally say that. If you talk to them, they literally say that. They just say humanity right now isn't ready. We have problems to work out, and Star Trek agrees. Star Trek spells out that timeline that agrees, saying that we still have a lot to go through until we can reach a future without war, without poverty, without racism, without hate. It's only after First Contact meeting the Vulcans that humanity decided, okay, this universe, it's a little bigger than our petty shit. We gotta work out our things on our planet. Only after that, in Star Trek, did humanity make that effort. Before that, humanity had the Third World War, had Colonel Green, had Khan Noonien Singh, had the sanctuary districts. So obviously, until humanity learns that the universe is a lot bigger than the petty stuff that we have every day, like racism and war and poverty and inequality and starvation and all that crap that plagues today's world. Until we learn how small that is, obviously humanity will have to work out these problems slowly. That's literally what Star Trek says, and all the traditional conservatives, you know, not the edgy teenagers who supported the Trump racism campaign, but the traditional ones who are, you know, the John McCain, Mitt Romney, George W. Bush types, they all say, we wish we had a future in which all of this hate, all of this violence, all of this suffering didn't exist. They really, literally, honestly say, we want to have a future in which this stuff doesn't exist. So how can you say that conservative types, they shouldn't like Star Trek? Obviously, if you talk to the traditional conservatives, they want a future like that, just like we do. They just say, we have to work out a few worldly problems until we get to that point. And Star Trek agrees. The Star Trek history agrees. If you don't see it, watch more Star Trek. Star Trek has the eugenics wars, it has the sanctuary districts, it has World War III, it has Colonel Green. Star Trek agrees. We have our issues to resolve first before we finally get our utopian future, which we all want and which we all deserve. And nobody should be excluded from loving Star Trek, from loving the Star Trek future, just for saying we can't get there overnight. It might take a century or two. The goal is to get there. The ultimate goal is to get to that utopian future. But we are not there yet. And I can completely relate to the statement that we are not there yet. We are not there yet. We are not ready. Humanity is not ready. One day we will be, but right now we are not. And I can completely relate. I don't 100% agree, but I can completely relate and I can completely understand. And if you're some left-wing extremist psychopath who cannot see, who cannot relate and cannot understand, like, what is wrong with you? Obviously, yes, we still have some problems to work out, and that's what it's all about. And that's what Star Trek is saying. We still have some things to work out. We still need Gabriel Bell. We still need to overcome Colonel Green. We still need to overcome the post-nuclear horror until we get to that point where we can say we can all get together, root out our hate, our wars, our inequality, our poverty. We still need to reach that point. If you cannot relate, you do not understand Star Trek, and you need to watch more Star Trek. Either that, you need to watch more Star Trek, or you don't have the capacity for understanding Star Trek. Watch Star Trek. It literally spells it out. We need to get to that point until we can make that breakthrough. Watch Star Trek, you will understand. If you don't, you have no business being into Star Trek. Watch Star Trek.